Donald Trump has been elected to serve as the 45th President of the United States of America. Whether you're happy or you're sad, that's something we're gonna have to live with for at least the next 4 years. So, here's what that means for your money. What's up everybody? I am Jaspreet Singh and welcome to the Minority Mindset. So, as you've probably heard, Donald Trump wants to make some massive changes when it comes to the economy. So, here's what that means based on what he said so far. Keep in mind, all of this stuff is just what he proposed. It's not approved and he might change his mind, but here's what it is. The biggest change will go to corporations. Donald Trump has proposed a 15% corporate level tax, which is a huge discount from the 39% it is right now. This change will affect businesses with 2 layers of tax, like C corporations. A C corporation is just a type of entity you can elect for your business, and it's the type of entity that most big businesses are. A double tax means exactly what it implies. You have to pay tax on the same money twice. So the business has to pay tax on the money when the business makes money, and then when the owner or the employee gets paid, they have to pay tax on the same money again. So let me show you how this works. Let's say I work for Singh Corporation, which has just made $100 and they owe me $20 in salary. Well, Singh Corporation has to pay about 40% in tax on the $100 it just made, leaving $60 in the company. Then they're gonna pay me $20 and now I have to pay tax on that $20 that I just made. Tax on the same money twice. So by reducing the corporate tax from 39% to 15%, corporations will be able to save a lot of money. Why do we want corporations to save more money? Well, the idea is by saving more money, these corporations will be able to invest more in their company, which will result in their company growing, which will result in them employing more people, which will result in more jobs, which would grow the economy. Donald Trump is also hoping that this reduction in corporate tax will make the United States more competitive when it comes to business, because currently we have one of the highest corporate tax rates in the world. But most small businesses typically don't elect C corporation status, so they're not subject to double tax. But they still might see a lot of change. LLCs, partnerships, S corporations, these are all known as pass-through or flow-through entities, meaning that they do not have a business level tax. So as an owner of one of these companies, you only pay tax based on your ownership share in that company, or as an employee, you only pay tax based on how much money you make. So if I own 25% of Singh Company LLC and we make $100,000 this year, that means I have $25,000 worth of income. There's no business level tax. But the amount of taxes I have to pay on the $25,000 will vary based on what tax bracket I'm in. So if I make a lot of money and I'm in the highest tax bracket, that means I have to pay more taxes on the $25,000. Donald Trump's proposal would change this. He's proposing a 15% flat tax on all income earned through pass-through entities. So going back to my Singh Company LLC example, if I earn $25,000 of income from my company, well, now I only have to pay 15% tax regardless of whether I'm in the high tax bracket or low tax bracket. It would always be 15%. But this really isn't as simple as it sounds, because this would change the way that businesses have to take deductions. Currently, the individual is taxed based on how much money they make. Now, the company is going to be taxed. So it's unclear how this is going to play out and we need more information. And if you don't have a business, your income tax is almost guaranteed to go down because Donald Trump is proposing a lower income tax for people in all tax brackets. Okay, so Donald Trump is lowering the business tax and lowering the income tax. So how does he plan on having enough money to run the country? He's proposing 2 ways. The first involves bringing back $2.1 trillion in cash that's sitting in offshore accounts by big corporations in America. I don't want to turn this into a corporate tax video, so I'm going to explain this kind of simply. Big businesses, well, they have money to do fancy things. So they've created these tax systems where they earn money in the US, but it's reported to be earned in countries like the Cayman Islands, where the tax is almost nothing. So then these corporations just let their money sit there, because if they brought the money back into the US, they'd have to pay the huge corporate taxes. Imagine paying 39% corporate tax on $1 trillion and then paying tax again when you pay yourself. Even if you're not good at math, you know that that's a lot of money in taxes that businesses don't want to pay. Donald Trump has proposed to give these corporations a holiday or a tax break to bring these trillions of dollars back into the US economy. What's the tax rate going to be? Well, we don't know that yet. In 2004, the government did the same thing at about a 5.25% tax rate. So take that for what it's worth. Oh, and by the way, in case you were wondering, those trillions of dollars sitting in offshore accounts are actually sitting in big banks on Wall Street in New York, because do you really think big companies like Apple and Google would trust third world companies with trillions of dollars in cash? That's fancy tax planning for you. This is expected to bring a lot of money back into the US economy, which would stimulate growth. But if you want to be an investor, you have to understand history. When the US did this in 2004 and the corporations got all this cash back in their pockets, instead of using this money to grow their businesses, they took that money to buy back their company stock or give huge dividends to their shareholders. So the people that own shares of these dividend paying stocks of these big corporations got huge paydays. I'm not saying it's gonna happen again, but you have to think that it might be possible if these corporations are given all this cash and they're not given regulations on how they're supposed to spend that money. And second, Donald Trump is betting that by lowering the corporate tax rate, large multinational corporations will come to America to do business because now our tax rates will be competitive. If that happens, that means more jobs and more businesses in the US. Remember, these are all just proposals, nothing's final, so things might change. But what do you think? Is this gonna help or hurt the economy? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget that I wrote an ebook on money and investing so you understand how to get your money working for you. It's completely free and you can download it on my website by clicking this link right here. Don't miss our new videos on business, entrepreneurship, and money every single week. So hit the subscribe button below, follow me on Snapchat here, follow us on Instagram here, and give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. And as always, keep hustling.